Hello, my name is Amy Sturkey. I am a pediatric physical therapist, and I am here with Stacy Marx. And Stacy is not someone I worked with actually when I was a younger PT, but I remember Stacy. And I asked around about Stacy to find out if I could interview her. Stacy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, so my name is Stacy Marx.
Can you tell us something about you?
Yes, of course. So I'm an artist.
Cool.
And I'm very involved in my local deaf community. And I am very involved in the Charlotte community as well.
Can you tell me why, because I remember seeing you at Child and Family Development where I worked. Can you tell me why you were seen there?
Oh, let me think. So when I was 5 months old, I started going to physical therapy for my physical development, along with my twin sister. And they suspected that I had CP.
Cerebral palsy.
When I was 9 months old,
Okay.
The doctor gave me a diagnosis of cerebral palsy. So that was why I attended the facility.
And I guess I should state the obvious. We are doing an interview and you are signing, so you're deaf.
Yes, that's correct.
And can you tell me the story? Because it sounds like that's a little bit complicated story in and of itself. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, sure. So, when my mother was pregnant with me and my twin, she actually didn't know that we were twins at the time until it was 9 months, until 7 months before we were born. So for part of the pregnancy, she was unaware. And then during birth, there was an incident.
Okay.
My mom was actually suffering from twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. And my sister was getting too much blood, so she was getting the higher end of the supply. And then
I didn't know that.
And then I was the donor twin, so I was being deprived of nutrients.
Okay. And then something happened around the time of birth as well?
Not exactly. So I was 3 weeks old, and there was an incident where I acquired pneumonia and became very sick. And so at the time, they gave me a medication to solve that infection, but they didn't warn my parents of the risks, and that actually caused me to become deaf, that medication.
And so you think you became deaf then, but you think you developed the athetoid cerebral palsy from birth?
Yes, so during the pregnancy, I didn't receive enough oxygen.
Okay.
And my sister was getting too much blood, so the deprivation caused me to develop cerebral palsy. And I also had a tracheotomy when I was in I was on a ventilator in the NICU because I had a lot of breathing issues after I was born.
Huh.
And when I was a baby, I really enjoyed pulling out my ventilator tube. So there was some thought that it might have caused the CP from me pulling out that ventilator tube.
Oh, wow. Because I have often found that the people I have spoken to with athetoid cerebral palsy, that there tends to be some sort of incident around the time they were born, because often the people that I have interacted with athetoid cerebral palsy have higher intellects, such that the damage happened later. The brain was pretty well functioning, developed. And it's just at the time of birth, the area that's more likely to cause damage is the type of damage that will often cause athetoid cerebral palsy.
Wow, very interesting.
So how long were you in the hospital?
For 2 months after I was born, or 10 weeks.
10 weeks, 2 months. And but you weren't diagnosed until later. You came home and they didn't know there was a problem, right? And then,
yeah, we didn't know that.
And then how long was it before they realized that you were deaf?
So they didn't realize I was deaf until I was 5 years old.
That is a long time to not know that someone is deaf.
Yeah, I can remember everything from before we found out.
And I guess, so, that must have, I would just guess, if you can remember all that, I think, did you realize that they were missing out, that you couldn't hear? And you just didn't have any way of telling them? Or you didn't realize that there was something you didn't know that you didn't have?
She's like, I was aware I couldn't hear, but I didn't really know what hearing was.
Right.
She said, all I really knew was that I loved my mom and my grandmother and my great-grandparents. Like the three of the women that took care of me, all I knew was I really loved those people.
Well, so tell me a little bit about your early development then. Did you, because I remember you walking, so I know that there's history you've got to get to first, but let's start off with your early history. Do you remember how old you were when you learned to sit independently? Or, because there are a lot of families who watch these videos who have a young baby now. And so they want to kind of compare themselves. How is my child compared to Stacy? Can you tell me, when did you sit, or when did you learn to walk or stand? Because I don't know those.
Oh, sure. Let me think. Well, I think I started sitting independently somewhere around 2 years old.
2 years of age, okay.
And I would sort of prop up against things, sort of prop sit on things, so
at
to
2.
brace myself.
At 2 years of age?
Yeah, at age 2.
Okay. And what about, did you learn to stand and walk around the same time? How or not? Tell me.
No, definitely not. So I got my first walker machine when I was about 3 years old. I wasn't the biggest fan of it at that time because it made me dizzy as a kid.
So you were in a walker?
Yes, I was.
Was it a full support walker or one that you held on to? What kind of walker was it?
Yeah, full support.
A full support walker.
It was red and it went around my waist.
Oh, fun. Okay, so you had a full support walker and you can walk in that. And again, tell me how old you were when you were in that walker like that?
I was 3 years old.
3 years of age. And you were having physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy?
Yep, about twice a week.
Of all of those things?
So I had physical therapy twice a week at that time. Occupational therapy was about once a week. And then speech therapy was about once a week too.
Okay. Okay. And you saw Sherry Launt, who was an amazing physical therapist. So
Yes, I did.
I'm just so happy that you got to see her.
Yeah, she was the best PT, but she was really strict.
She was really strict. I don't remember that. What was she strict about?
She really wanted me like to have more confidence and get stronger and be more independent. So she was real tough on me about those kind of things, making sure.
It sounds like she believed in you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Stacy, I cannot believe it, but we try to divide these interviews up into 10-minute segments, and we're already at the end of our first 10 minutes, and I feel like we have only barely started. So, would it be okay if we continue this video, this discussion on the next video?
Yep, that's perfectly fine.
All right. How about we'll talk to you on the next video. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you later next time. Bye-bye. If you liked this video and would like to be notified by email when the next video comes out, click the subscribe button here and click the golden bell icon and ensure notifications are enabled on your account.